Stand by for my new review of the movie, The Magnificent Seven, coming right up. The Magnificent Seven has just been released. It is directed by Antoine Fuqua and stars Denzel Washington, Chris Pratt, Peter Sarsgaard, Vincent D'Onofrio, and just a ton of great actors doing really great work. I'm going to say just right from the get-go, this movie is fun, it's exciting, it is entertaining, it is riveting, and it is a movie you are going to want to see. Now let me tell you why. This is a remake of a 1960 Yul Brynner movie, The Magnificent Seven, which itself was a remake of Akira Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai from 1954. Now, The Seven Samurai was a groundbreaking movie in a number of ways. It is arguably the first film that brought together a team of heroes to accomplish a goal. And it's also one of the first movies, if not the first, where one of the heroes of the movie, the central main samurai leader, is shown in an intro scene where he is appealed to. There's a situation, there's a hostage situation, and he is this samurai character, and he shaves his head, and he goes and he handles the hostage situation, and he comes out and he's Mr. Badass. And that is, if you recognize the narrative that I'm describing right now, this is pretty much how any hero of any movie, in any action movie ever, since that time, has been introduced. Is there some situation, he goes in and handles it, and now he's established himself as, whoa, Mr. Badass. And that all started, apparently, with The Seven Samurai. This was the original, seminal work on the modern action hero movie. And of course, it didn't, 6 years later, they remade it in the United States with The Magnificent Seven. And there were themes in The Seven Samurai which carried forward to that 1960 version of The Magnificent Seven, having to do with class, duty, honor, roles that we play, roles that we're obligated to play. And these are very important statements on society and on culture. Japanese culture, American culture, the thing translated over very well. And it showed there was a very major distinction made between the lower classes, the peasants that these samurai, these fighting class, were fighting for, and these samurai. They didn't mix, they were very separate, that sort of thing. That also was carried over into the 1960 Magnificent Seven, where in the end it was pretty clear that the only winners in this thing were the peasants. They were the ones who couldn't fight for themselves, got these guys to come in and fight for them. Most of these guys who fought for them died in the process, and the peasants end up living on, for another day. So how does all of that translate into the modern remake? Did any of that, kind of heavy, dramatic baggage carry over into this? Well, actually, no, it didn't. They kind of, it's there, but only by subtext. It's not really in your face. And this movie is a lot more about the drama of a Western. And, it does the same things, but it doesn't do it in exactly the same way. And in a way, for a modern audience, I found it to be more effective because this movie is a Western, and it sort of resuscitates a Western and all the classic tropes and memes and and all the things you expect to see in a Western. They're all here, and they're here in a really well-made fashion. Antoine Fuqua definitely is a master of framing and setup and how the shots are going to be laid out, and your attention is exactly where it's supposed to be the entire time. There are shootouts, there are standoffs, there's the damsel in distress, there is the townspeople, there's the caretaker, the guy who's making the coffins in the town. Like, all these things are there. But and of course, best of all is Peter Sarsgaard as the awful, atrociously just evil bad guy. I mean, there's just nothing redeeming about this man. You can't wait to see this guy get it. it is just, and this army of scummy, horrible mercenary type men who back him, right? And which the seven, the Magnificent Seven are taking on. Denzel Washington doesn't know how to do bad acting. There's just, on his worst day, he is better than almost any other living actor. He does an amazing job in this. Chris Pratt brings it in, and also the whole team really does. Ethan Hawke is in this. He plays a very, very good, conflicted sharpshooter from the Confederate War who has a history with Denzel Washington. And Denzel's going around gathering up these seven to go fight for this town, right? Just like in the originals. And Ethan Hawke is a character that he's got a past with, and he does a really good job of playing this PTSD type infected person. But it's not over the top. It's not weird. It doesn't come across as corny. It's just good. Chris Pratt also humorous, joking, kind of a rambunctious gangster type or gambler type. He does a great job in this, and altogether the team, altogether, Vincent D'Onofrio, big bear of a man. You've seen him in Daredevil. He's been in lots of movies, and his voice, the voice, I don't even want to spoil it. I want you to see it, but it's amazing. How every character has their own unique talents and traits and drawbacks, and they're all presented with, in good time. They're not, they don't come across, well, they come across a little bit as caricatures, but not totally, right? And all together, of course, they make this team who fight for this town. The conflicts are great. The pacing is great. There's no points during this movie where you're going to be bored, where you're going to be looking at your watch, where you're going to be wondering, when is this thing going to get to the climax? Everything that goes along the way just brings you along with it. And so I thought the editing was really tight, even though there are scenes of slowness, of where there's not action. It's not like it's action, 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 action. There are definitely character building scenes. There are exposition scenes, and there's some beautiful cinematography in this movie. Absolutely gorgeous landscaping, and you definitely believe that this whole thing happens where they say it happens, in the Old West. So I have to say that I really, really want you to see this movie. This is definitely like a rating of sheer awesomeness. And if I was going to, I guess if I was going to say anything about what else I would have liked in this movie, maybe a little bit more cowbell. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.